What am I hosting? What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and we have an official announcement. We love these streams, official announcement streams. Come on, we've got a signing to parade. We've got a signing to talk about, as Tottenham have announced a signing of Marcos Senesi. We'll get into all the reaction, all the announcements in due course. Ben is at home, as you can see. How are we doing, Ben? How you keeping?
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. The good news keeps rolling in, people. Not just this, but the stuff about Kehl, which we'll get into as well. But yeah, looking forward to this stream and very happy Ben over here.
Come on, everyone's happy. Second signing of the summer has now been confirmed. Incredible news. Before we get into all the nitty-gritty of the announcement, which is another great one, which we'll get into the video, big shout out to OK Jersey, the best retro jerseys on the market. Go check them out at okjersey.com. Unbelievable retro shirts, incredible quality for very affordable prices as well. And even more affordable if you use our code Spurs15, where you get 15% off all shirts that you do buy at okjersey.com. If you want a shirt, I mean, I know the World Cup starts tomorrow, but if you want any shirts in time for when the World Cup is still on, if you order them now, they have all 48 participating teams with their retro jerseys on the website. So go there and check it out. Also, all your Spurs merch, brilliant quality Spurs stuff as well, jackets, training gear, the upcoming shirts, retro shirts on there. So all the best replica jerseys on the website. So go check out okjersey.com. Such a great website. Very good quality, good delivery times, and affordable prices. So go check them out. Link is in the chat, or you can just go to okjersey.com on stream. But don't forget to use our code, or you're going to miss out on a 15% discount. All right. Marcos Senesi announced, has signed for Tottenham. Again, we haven't announced the length of the contract, but we have announced he has become a Tottenham player as of today on a free transfer from AFC Bournemouth, making him our second signing of the summer. It's a signing which I think a lot of people, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of build-up, so everyone's kind of expected it by now. No, it's not a massive surprise that he signed for Tottenham at this point. But when the deal when it was in the pipeline, and, you know, when we were first linked with him, this was a major surprise that he would even consider Tottenham. I thought definitely he's going to go to Chelsea or Liverpool or one of these better clubs. He's been on brilliant form for Bournemouth for a while. He's really taken to the Premier League very, very well. He's been there for 4 years now. I know 1 year he pretty much missed with a serious knee injury. But apart from that, he's pretty much been a stalwart in that Bournemouth backline. And when he was announced that he was leaving Bournemouth on a free and that he wasn't going to renew his contract, it did spark a lot of speculation. Where was he going to end up? Which club's going to pick him up? A lot, you know, if this guy had 1 year, 2 years left on his contract, this is a 30, 40, maybe even 50 million pound centre-back we're talking about. And Tottenham have been able to convince him to come on a free transfer. It's a brilliant bargain, a brilliant signing. How excited are you to see him in the Spurs shirt?
I'm buzzing because it's a position that we've desperately needed for so long, you know, rotation or whatever you want to call it at left centre-back. We haven't had a viable backup option there for a long time. And this is a guy of pure quality, like you just mentioned. You know, he's been central to that Bournemouth team for the past 2-3 years. He's a player that's going to help us at both ends of the pitch. You're looking at the metrics and the stats. There's not many defenders or centre-backs better than him on the ball in the Premier League. And, you know, it shows that he really wanted to join Tottenham because he would have had his pick of clubs this summer. He said yes to us pretty early. He said, you know, if you stay in the Premier League, I'll join Tottenham Hotspur because it's a place I want to play. I envisage myself playing my football at your football club. So it's a player that wants to be here. It's a player of really good quality. He's going to help us at both ends of the pitch as well. His goal contributions numbers over the past 3 years speak for itself as well. I think it ticks every box, to be honest. I think I'm loving it. I really am. And I think it's a major coup to bring him in because, like you said, the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea desperately need centre-backs this summer. And it looks like if we get Van Hecker over the line, you know, there's two players that could have easily, you know, have the quality to play for those clubs. And they've ended up joining Tottenham, who finished 17th twice in a row. So I am shocked that this got over the line because you saw at the back end of last season when our Premier League survival wasn't safe. Everyone was saying, "Oh, Liverpool are going to come hijack." Even very recently with Andoni Iraola joining Liverpool, you're thinking, "Oh, is there going to be a hijack here?" Nothing's been announced yet. We didn't get the here we go, but he's here. He's beautiful. We love our Argentinians at Spurs,
We do.
and he joins a long list of Argentinians, doesn't he? That have all made their mark on the football club, from Ricky to Ozzy to Cuti Romero, Marcos Senesi now is part of a long list. And don't forget the likes of Lamela as well, Gazaniga, Lo Celso. So many Argentinians walk through the door here, and I feel like
Even Maradona wore the shirt.
even Maradona wore the shirt, exactly. So I think there is something in it between Tottenham Hotspur and Argentinians ever since Ricky and Ozzy joined the club. So I love an Argentinian, and they always bring that fire and that passion, no matter what you think. So I'm delighted.
I wonder if one of the Argentinians made the call to Senesi to make sure that he signed on the dotted line. Well, talking about Argentinians who have played for Tottenham, there was one very present in the announcement video. Let's go check out the announcement video before we get more into about Senesi. So scroll down. So this is the second time that Spurs have announced signing with a former player at the very heart of the announcement video. So I don't know if you guys can hear it at home, but they can hear it. So there you go. Says Ozzy Ardiles talking about how the pride it is to wear the shirt.
London became
It's a brilliant video.
home. Tottenham became family. Today, I still love to see an Argentinian in England. It made me proud. But when they represent the Spurs, wow, this is even better. Marcos, welcome, very welcome. Defend this shirt, give it everything, and we will always be with you.
There you go.
This is
Not
yours
yet.
now. True.
Brilliant video. And Ozzy Ardiles getting involved.
Senesi is a beautiful man, though. What a beautiful man Marcos Senesi is, man.
Phenomenal. So what have you made of this trend, Tottenham using former players in their videos? I do feel like, are they kind of not stealing, but, taking inspiration about what Arsenal did with Eze and Ian Wright and all that kind of stuff, so that we're now kind of jumping on the bandwagon, getting some former players in the announcement videos? I don't want to compare, but it seems to be...
I want to compare, but I'll go and compare.
I'm just saying that went down very well. I don't think it's any surprise that we're now seeing it a bit more. But obviously, really nice. And yeah, no, it's great.
I like it. Because it's also players that have connection, right? Because Michael Dawson was Andy Robertson's captain at Hull, so there was that connection there. And Senesi and Ardiles are obviously both Argentinian. And I think, when you hear Ardiles speaking that, it does hit home a little bit, and it goes to show about the Argentinians. They come here and they find a home at Tottenham in N17, White Hart Lane, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and let's hope Marcos Senesi is the same. So, yeah, I love them, to be honest. I really like this. I prefer this one to the Andy Robertson one for some reason. This one...
Well, because you actually saw Senesi and you didn't see Robertson at all in the other one. Yeah, really nice announcement video. So good job from Tottenham there. And look, I love the fact that we're becoming the Argentinians home away from Argentina. They should all come to Tottenham. Absolutely brilliant. I love that. I love that idea.
One in, one out this summer.
It looks like it, which we'll get into. If you scroll up, we'll get into the statement in a minute. Let's just keep going on the announcements on X. So, number 5, he has been given the number 5. By the way, if you notice, he has been given a number, and Robertson hasn't been given a number. I think if anything would tell you, I think what I would gather from that is they're waiting for Dragoshin to leave to give Robertson the number 3. So I think we're pretty much getting confirmation with the fact that Senesi's getting a number. In a weird way, we're getting confirmation that Dragoshin's probably set to leave, I think, as well, in a weird way. But there you go. Number 5 for Marcos Senesi, following the likes of Jan Vertonghen, from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Nice. I think people wondering if we were going to hold out the number 5 for Van der Ven at some point, but that never happened, did it? So Senesi's stolen in there.
Yeah, I think Van der Ven wants his number 37 because he said that number holds something dear to him. So I think he'll stick with the number 37. But Højbjerg, Vertonghen, Before that, David Bentley, Yunus Kabul, Edgar Davids, and Goran Bunjevcevic. And before Goran Bunjevcevic, it was someone that has been erased from the history of this football club. So, yeah, look, you can't go wrong following the footsteps of Big Jan at centre back, having the number 5 shirt. So let's hope he wears it with pride. I'm sure he will. And let's hope he lives up to Jan Vertonghen's reputation, because if he does, then we got one hell of a centre back here. But look, they're going to go on their own path. Senesi's going to bring his own style to the team, and I can't wait to see him on the pitch.
Yeah, look, a tough tackling centre-back with a culture left foot. I know where I've seen that before. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, number 5. So there is the announcement there. And then Marco Senesi with his first words as a Tottenham player to the Tottenham fans in this video here.
Hi, Spurs fans. I'm Marco Senesi, and I can't wait to play with you at the stadium. Looking really forward for the next season, and come on, you Spurs.
And he said, "Come on, you Spurs." Was it that hard, Robbo? Was it that hard? Come on, I think it should be tradition. Every new signing says, "Come on, you Spurs." I can't believe Robbo didn't get the memo.
But it has been a tradition ever since. Like every new signing does say, "Come on, you Spurs." I don't know why Robertson didn't, but yeah, Senesi got the memo.
Senesi got the memo. All right, so here is the announcement on the official website. Some interesting stuff in here, which we'll get into. So first of all, Marcos says, he says, an experienced Argentine international defender. He will join us on July the 1st, subject to international clearance following the expiration of his contract with Bournemouth. Marcos said, it's a very special feeling to be a Tottenham Hotspur player. From the first moment, the club has shown why they want me and how much they want me to be a part of what they are building. It's exciting and something I can't wait to be involved in. Every time I step on the pitch, I will do my best to make the fans proud and to take the club back to the place it belongs. I want to win things with Tottenham and will do everything I can to make that happen. Johan Lang has had his say on the signing of Marcos Senesi. He says, Marcos is a defender who brings a combination of quality, intelligence and leadership to our group. His experience at the highest level, his composure in possession and his desire to compete for every ball make him an excellent fit for the way we want to play. We are delighted to welcome him to the club and believe this is the perfect place for him as he enters a great stage in his career. Roberto De Zerbi, no video of him in suspiciously the same outfit he was wearing at the end of the season review. So no video there. So maybe it wasn't quite as further along as Robertson's one at that time. He says Marcos's experience, quality on the ball and competitive edge will strengthen us defensively, as well as giving us flexibility in formation. That's an interesting line. He's comfortable playing in a possession-based team, reads the game very well, and has the personality to thrive in a demanding environment. I also love his mentality and desire to keep improving, and I'm looking forward to working with him and seeing the big contribution he can make to the team. So, interesting line there. He'll give us his strengths, in defensive strengths, as well as giving us flexibility in formation. So, is that De Zerbi saying that we could maybe be seeing the back 3 at some points next season?
Yeah, look, there's actually been a lot of fans talking about a potential back 3, and that makes an opening for someone like Luka Vuskovic as well to get a bit more game time if he was going to be around next season. But to have a back 3 of Senesi, Van de Ven, and Van Hecker, that is a top back 3, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
Mouth-watering.
Yeah. Good luck pressing those a lot. It's going to be a hell of a job. I think it's an absolutely mouth-watering back 3. So I wonder what De Zerbi is cooking up, what he has in store, because he's clearly thought about getting Senesi in. Because obviously we've all been talking about, obviously we need a backup to Van de Ven, but we've all been talking about, if Van de Ven leaves, we need a left-sided centre-back, or if Romero leaves, we need a right-sided one. Well, we've brought a left-sided one with Van de Ven set to stay. So clearly he's thought about this. And Senesi, I don't think is coming to play second fiddle to anyone, is he?
He's a rotation option at the end of the day. You need, as what De Zerbi said, you need 2 good players in every position. And that's what we're trying to do here. And I think when you look at De Zerbi, and we all look at the back end of last season being like, all right, 4-3-2-1 or 4-2-3-1, that's the way we're going to go. That's the way we're going to play. But we know that he was just trying to keep things familiar to the players for those last 7 games and just get us winning games in the short term. Once we get pre-season behind and once we get into next season, I think we're going to see a vast range of formations from Roberto De Zerbi next season, because you've seen that at Marseille, you've seen that at Brighton. He doesn't just stick to one formation. He plays a variation of different formations all season. So bringing in 2 good players in each position and everything like that, and top quality caliber, it gives you that variety where you can play so many different formations.
I think the most important thing is as well having someone who can come in and is very technically of a high level. I think a lot of the time we've changed formations, but we're maybe fitting in players who don't suit the style, but we want to change formation, so we get a player to play certain positions where maybe they're not so comfortable. Whereas now, if you've got Senesi, let's say you bring him on, he's immediately comfortable playing that possession-based football. He's immediately comfortable with the ball at his feet. Whereas in seasons gone by, it hasn't always been the case. It's always been, if we want to change formation, we have to shoehorn a player in somewhere, or we have to change things up in play where players aren't as comfortable. So having a player like Senesi to come in, who could, in another circumstance, be a starting centre-back for us, and he might well be. As the season goes on, you never know. Maybe will Van der Ven be shunted out to left-back? Maybe he gets an injury. You never know. I'm sure Senesi will get a lot of game time. So it's going to be very, very exciting what he does. I mean, the rest of the announcement is just like his career. I think the most interesting thing, if you go to the last paragraph, he says, last term he enjoyed one of the best campaigns to date, a ball-playing defender. He made 2,300 passes in the top flight with no outfield player completing more long passes than him. Strong at the back and a threat in attack. No centre-back produced more assists than Senesi, while he sat in the Premier League's top 3 for the most interceptions, most blocks and most clearances. He also has 3 caps for Argentina. Important to note, he didn't get called up to the squad, despite one of their defenders just getting injured. They went in a different direction, so shame for him.
Who got called up instead?
I don't know. It was, I don't know who, I can't remember, but it wasn't Senesi.
I'm happy about that. Because like we mentioned, or like I said to you, if Van der Ven's going to go far in the World Cup, that means Senesi can go have a full pre-season and start the season potentially at left centre-back. So I'm delighted he's not called up to the World Cup, to be honest.
Yeah, no problem about that.
I've just liked a tweet, by the way. Can we just bring it up quickly? There you go. Tottenham.
Is this from him himself? SZY?
Yeah, I don't know. SZY posted it. I don't know who, where he got it from or who's actually posted it, but it looks like Spurs have followed Senesi out to wherever he is on holiday, hunted him down, gave him the shirt, and the pictures are beautiful.
I see. So that's what I was wondering. Look, there wasn't at Spurs Lodge all those pictures. I was wondering where they were. So there he is in Ibiza, apparently, getting the full treatment from the full media treatment. He was like, look, he was like, I'm on holiday. I don't want to come back do this media stuff. They're like, okay, we'll come to you. Don't worry. It'll take a few hours. You can enjoy the rest of your holiday after that. So big up to Marcos. Big up to Spurs getting that done. There you go. A few bits. I wonder, did he post this himself or has he nabbed it from somewhere? I wonder. Anyway, that's interesting. There you go. Senesi behind the scenes. Big up. One thing I wanted to say about the Senesi signing as well, it's very clear, isn't it, with this signing and the chase for Van Hecke, we're going for a very specific profile centre-back. Like, we're very much going for the type of centre-back that De Zerbi's going to want in terms of the way we play. You can see with the data, they both are very, very similar in how they match up with the data in terms of the amount of build-up, their progressive passes, their passing ability, those kind of metrics. Clearly, De Zerbi has very much sought out those metrics, and we've looked at the best 2 at the moment in the Premier League, like, let's go get those guys. And that's clearly a very targeted kind of signing. It's not, obviously he's a good player in his own right, regardless of the data and all that kind of stuff. He's done it very well for Bournemouth, but in terms of recruitment, how we're looking at recruitment, it's clearly very targeted when it comes to the data, isn't it? Our approach for these 2 players.
Yeah, I mean, it is in terms of what they offer on the pitch, but also they are opportunistic signings as well, because Senesi is obviously at the end of his contract. He's on a free. Timing's perfect. And Van Hecke, has got 1 year left in his deal as well. So I think if these guys had 3-4 years left on their contract, you're probably looking at maybe they're a bit out of our price range. Who knows? Depending what our budget is this season, particularly with finishing 17th twice in a row. So I think they are targeted, but they're also opportunistic signings. So it's like a weird variation of both.
Yeah, but it's, let's say we were signing them, let's say we signed SENESI for 30 million or something. We would all be looking at data saying that's exactly who we like. Those are the kind of players we should be looking at, isn't it? So, yeah, look, it's maybe the timing is fortunate, but at the end of the day, I think these are also, you could definitely see them being data-led as well. It's a thing, one of these rare opportunities, luckily for us, where a Premier League proven player available wants to come and matches up with the data as well of what we want, I think. So it just seems to be working all accounts.
I think just timing worked out perfectly for us on this one with SENESI. End of contract, Spurs looking in that position, De Zerbi coming in, the exact profile De Zerbi wants. Everything just kind of came together at once. So it's a beautiful thing.
Fantastic. So there you go. Marcos Senesi is a Tottenham player. Big up to Marcos. Very, very excited to see him in a Spurs shirt. I think the fans will fall in love with him. He's a player who also, as much as we talk about his passing, technical ability, I remember watching the game against Arsenal they played at the back end of last season. And his passing shone, but it wasn't just that. It was his robustness. As every time I think it was Gyökeres playing up front, he was into him, not giving him a second. It was he's a very aggressive centre-back as well. He plays on the front foot. He's a lot more proactive. He's similar to Romero in that sense. He's not a guy who's going to wait for things. He's going to go after things. And that's also very, very exciting, having an aggressive defender.
Are you surprised, though, that he doesn't really get considered by Argentina too much? Three caps in his whole career. You would think he would make the squad. You can understand him maybe not starting, but not make the squad, I think, is very surprising.
Yeah, I'm shocked by that. You would have thought he definitely would have went. So I am shocked. Some Argentinian fans I was reading on X suggesting they played out Mauritiana in a friendly and he apparently had an awful game. So apparently that's been held against him maybe at an international level. I can't say for sure. Maybe playing at a bigger club like Tottenham will raise his profile, and he's playing well for a club like Spurs. Maybe he'll get the nod. But I mean, Bournemouth's in the Premier League. They should really be looking at that and thinking, let's get this guy on the squad. But I don't know. It's hard to say why they've left him out. It's a big surprise. I thought he was definitely going to go. And obviously the likes Otamendi, I know is experienced, but he's obviously very old. They've got Martinez and Romero, who are good players. Martinez has suffered a lot with injury, hasn't he? Hasn't had the best of seasons. So, could Senesi, you think, would be more reliable pick than him, potentially. But yeah, look, second signing of the summer. Obviously, we haven't spent a penny yet. It's 2 free transfers. But yes, the signings are underway. The summer's underway. The transfer window.
Let's get down to the real business and let's see who we can actually spend some money on. I want to see that money being spent. I want to see those coffers being opened. I want to see that investment that Enix suggests that they're going to put in. That's what I want to see. I want to see some big players come through the door or some high quality.
All right, let's move on then, and let's talk about Sebastian Kehl. So Sebastian Kehl.
By the way, just before you do, Solanke's just posted saying, "Welcome, my brother." Obviously, they were teammates.
Ah, good point. Good point. So yeah, maybe he can help get the best out of Solanke. Someone has to. Okay, so Sebastian Kehl, former Dortmund director. Sebastian Kehl will not be joining Tottenham this summer. That is according to Bild and Florian Plettenberg. The two parties had recently engaged in intensive negotiations, but the talks have now broken down. The main reason was reportedly differing views over the club's strategic vision. What's his name? Patrick Berger, one of the other Sky Germany journalists, says one of the deal breakers for Sebastian Kehl was that Roberto De Zerbi will now be given greater influence within the sporting structure at Tottenham, which is, I think, quite interesting kind of update. Plettenberg also said, Sebastian Kehl will not join Tottenham. Decision now made by Kehl. no consensus was reached on the club's strategic direction, with Kehl expected to help shape the squad and work closely with the first team alongside Johan Lang. So, they're suggesting Sebastian Kehl is the one who rejected Spurs. Clearly, there's been no agreement on the direction of the club. And one of the deal breakers is De Zerbi's having more control. I mean, what do we make of all of that?
I'm actually delighted that Kehl hasn't accepted to join. I'm delighted that De Zerbi's getting more control, because I think our managers need more control at the top, and particularly someone like Roberto De Zerbi. Again, I don't know what's going to happen with who's going to come in as sporting director, if anyone's going to come in as sporting director. But what was suggested when De Zerbi came in is that he was going to get a lot of power, and that he was going to decide who the sporting, or help decide who the sporting director is. But I think it's a breath of fresh air that a manager is going to have a bit more power than they've ever had at Tottenham before, particularly when, we've been finished 17th twice in a row. We need a big rebuild. We have to go in the vision of Roberto De Zerbi and move forward. So is he going to now be a manager instead of a head coach? Is it too early to give him this kind of power? Because usually managers are there for like a year or two, they earn their stripes, and then you kind of upgrade them. He's done a great job so far, but the reality is it's only been 7 games. Is it a bit too early to give him this amount of power? I'm not too sure. I mean, I don't mind it, to be honest, because I think, we want to keep him happy. We want him to keep us happy. And I think for him to believe in a long-term project, I think give him the power. And I think that will, keep him believing, if he can work closely with the board, if he believes in the board, if the board kind of carrying on, giving him what he needs, then I think that's something De Zerbi can get behind. So I think it's smart from Tottenham to give De Zerbi the power.
Do you believe that Kehl was the one who rejected us, or that we rejected him?
I don't know. I think it's basically they're in negotiations from the back end of last season. They were probably telling him what he wanted to hear at the back end of last season, not thinking that De Zerbi was going to get all this power. And then now things have changed. De Zerbi's proved himself in these 7 games. He kept us up. And I think they've had a change of heart, and they'd be like, well, you can still come, but we're going to give a lot more power to De Zerbi.
It kind of worries me a bit, the fact that we were prepared to offer him the job and now he's rejected us, which kind of means, if it is true, then we're kind of back to square one in our director of football search if we were planning on bringing in Kehl. So that is a bit of a worry for me. And the fact that we wanted to give him the job as well is a bit of a worry for me. So I hope it was more mutual than Kehl rejecting Tottenham and there was being an offer on the table and him turning us down. And it does worry me a bit that Kehl looked at our strategic vision. He was like, I don't think you guys know what you're doing, and I don't think it's the right way, so I ain't going to join. That also does worry me, because what did he see? What is our vision? What is the direction that he didn't agree with? That also kind of worries me a bit as well. So
I don't know if I really believe that Kehl rejected us, to be honest. I don't know if I believe that too much. I think it was more us not really wanting him. I think, it was all said that that deal was wrapped up. If we were going to stay in the Premier League, he was going to be our sporting director. I think Spurs are looking in a different direction. I think our kind of plans maybe have changed since the season has ended, since before we were negotiating with him earlier on.
In terms of the De Zerbi question you posed before, I would say there's 2 separate questions. Because the 2 questions are, is it the right decision to give De Zerbi power? And the other question is it too early to give him that power? I think the question, is it too early, is undoubtedly yes, it is. But it doesn't mean it's wrong. I think most managers should earn it. And I think if we give him this power at this point, we are definitely at risk of jumping the gun, at really putting all our eggs in the De Zerbi basket, when it could all blow up in our face very quickly if it goes wrong. But on the flip side, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the wrong decision, because I do think the players that De Zerbi's going to want are players that should be able to play under the managers that we should be hiring going forward. So he's going to want higher technical quality. He's going to want players with winning mentality. He's going to want players who can be adaptable and function in different systems. So I don't think, I think when you look at like Frank and maybe, I think it comes very specifically to like more Conte, Mourinho, these kind of managers who want very specific kind of players for their positions. I think when you give them too much power and then they end up getting sacked, you're left with a lot of problems. I think when it's different for like managers like Poch or Ange and De Zerbi, they should want players that you want for the long term anyway. They should want players that should work theoretically under different managers. So I'm not worried about giving De Zerbi power, to be honest, because I do think he's going to have the best interests of Tottenham in terms of the players that he's going to want. He's going to want brave players. He's going to want players that we want to see. He's going to want exciting players. He's going to want high technical ability. So for me, I think De Zerbi is going to want players that, even if he doesn't work out, if we bring in another attacking manager, they should want as well, kind of thing. Where it's not the same with the likes of Conte and Mourinho and those kind of managers. Nuno.
It's all about if you do your succession planning right, it shouldn't matter who's making the transfer decisions, because you've got to have the same philosophy, the same ethos moving through the managers. The amount of times we've spoken about this, it's like you can't go from Conte to Ange to Mourinho to De Zerbi to Frank, you know what I mean? From defensive to attacking, you have to keep from the same philosophy from the academy all the way to the first team, and it needs to be consistent throughout the years, throughout the managers, throughout the generations. What we've been doing is a complete mishmash approach. So if we're scouting players for Conte, they're obviously not going to be the right players for Ange Postecoglou. If we're scouting players for Thomas Frank, they're obviously not going to be the right players for De Zerbi. However, if you went from Ange Postecoglou to De Zerbi, then that's a different kettle of fish. If you scout players for Ange Postecoglou, then they could be the right players for De Zerbi. So it's all about the way we maneuver and structure things now. Like if De Zerbi somehow loses his job in a year's time or 2 years' time, whatever, the next manager you have to bring in has to be someone of the same ilk. And that means that everyone that you've scouted under De Zerbi, it will be a seamless approach going into the next manager. So I think giving De Zerbi the reins, as long as we keep the same philosophy, is completely fine by me.
Another element of the update is De Zerbi will have a big say on who the new Tottenham sporting director will be, which is, I think it's, again, I've got a bit more conflicting feelings, because you've got someone, if De Zerbi is going to have a big say who the sporting director is, are they going to be tied to De Zerbi? If De Zerbi doesn't work out, is a sporting director also going to not work out? That's something we got to decide. So I don't mind him having an input, but I don't think he should be deciding who the sporting director is, or it shouldn't be like his mate or something like that.
I think we all thought that as well with Paratici and Conte. We thought as soon as Conte is going to leave, Paratici is going to leave because they're mates. But Paratici stayed on, didn't he?
Well, Paratici came first.
I know Paratici came first, but he hired Conte, and everyone was saying, oh, they're mates. This was always going to happen. And Paratici made the Conte deal happen. And we thought, they're tied to each other. And, there was a lot of suggestions when Conte left. Well, is Paratici going to leave now as well? But he obviously didn't.
Yeah, but it's a bit different. Conte didn't pick Fabio. Fabio picked Conte. Paratici came, was the one who selected Conte to be the manager of Tottenham, in terms of he was looking after Tottenham's bigger project. He wasn't Conte, he was Tottenham. Whereas if De Zerbi picks a sporting director, I'm just worried, is he coming to work with De Zerbi, or is he coming to be sporting director for Tottenham? Do you know what I mean? So that's a worry.
To be honest, I don't worry about that too much, because I hope that De Zerbi is going to be here for a long time, and the future can sort itself out in the future. Right now, what I want is a sporting director and a manager that can work well together, that share the same visions, that don't butt heads with each other, and that can take Tottenham past this horrible phase and move us into the future, move us up the table and get us back into European football. I don't really care what happens 3-4 years down the line if De Zerbi leaves and what happens with the sporting director. Right now, I'm so focused on what we do now and how we move forward. So if these two guys can work with each other and work with each other well, then I'm delighted for that.
Look, as long as it's a healthy relationship and it's for the long-term benefit of Tottenham, I don't mind. I'm just saying, I wouldn't want someone who's too closely potentially tied to De Zerbi. And I mean, I wouldn't mind if it's good for the long term. I'm just saying you're running the risk of you get someone in, then De Zerbi has a falling out of the club, and then the sporting director feels like he has to leave because he was De Zerbi's guy rather than he's a Tottenham sporting director. That's what I'm worried about. So you just got to be careful of that. But I don't mind him having a big input and him saying, yeah, look, I know I have a working relationship with this person, or I know this, I really appreciate this guy's work, or him having input on who he really believes could head our sporting project. I've got no problem, but I'm just saying I don't know if he should be selecting or appointing someone himself. That's what I'm saying. But yeah.
De Zerbi did praise Johan Langer at the end of the season.
There you go. If he selected Lang, what were you saying then?
Get them all out.
Get them all out. All right. So is it in terms of so are we back to square one at this point? Kehl rejected us. We haven't talked about obviously the protracted search. Kehl's now off the table for sure. We're now we heard Dougie Freeman doesn't want to really leave Saudi. There's other mentions of Paul Winstanley. No other serious names though at the moment, is there? Bit of a worry.
No, I told you this a few weeks. I told you this a few days ago. I don't think another sporting director is going to come in this transfer window. I really don't.
I think it will. I think there'll be a name that we haven't heard yet, but I don't know who it is. But I think we're going to bring someone. It's just a worry that it's taken this long. This is something that should have been dealt with for a while ago. That's the truth. As I've said, we've had since January when Fabio announced he's leaving to get this sorted. So the fact that we're now in June, I don't care that it's only 10 days or whatever, or now is 2 weeks since the season ended. I mean, yeah. I don't really care that it's that short a time because it's not that's not the time you should be looking at. It's since Fabio was announced that he's leaving, that's the time you should be looking at, because we should be searching since then, not just since the season ended. So the fact that nothing's happened, or nothing's been announced still, just smacks of a lack of proactivity from this board. And it just tells me something, the fact they haven't appointed someone yet. I don't think it says to me yet that they're not going to get anyone or anything like that, but it tells me something. It just tells me how proactive have they been? How sure are they of who they want? Do they know what they want? All these different things. It just tells me a bit of uncertainty there when it comes to sporting director, when this should be the main thing, which they've been talking about, heading sporting operations, putting football first. Well, sporting director is a major part of it. You know what I mean? Having a competent sporting director to head the recruitment of the first team and head the direction of this football club from a footballing point of view, that should be paramount. If you're saying that, we haven't put football first and we were wrong about that and we're going to start doing that, well, having someone at the helm is absolutely crucial for that. So the fact that we haven't done that, it just tells me still they haven't been proactive about this.
Well, they've been proactive in a sense where they've been speaking to people ever since Paratici has left. They've been speaking to those three names that you've mentioned. But they're finding it hard to bring someone in. They're finding it hard. And I think obviously they're starting to give Roberto more power now. So I just feel Roberto's going to have more power. Johan Lang's going to have a bit less power. And they're just going to work together and work it out through this summer transfer window. Like I said, Johan Lang is so central to everything that we're doing now. He's still doing all the quotes on the website whenever we bring in a player. I find it highly strange that he's doing that if he's going to be removed from his sporting director role.
Well, why are they looking for someone? You don't think they're looking for someone?
I don't know. Maybe they're looking for someone to work alongside Johan Lang. Maybe. But
yeah, we know that Lang's going to get less power.
Guys were the three guys that they wanted to bring in. I don't think any of these three guys want to come in. So I don't think we're going to bring anyone in.
I think they want someone. They want to recreate the dynamic of Fabio and Johan, where Fabio looks after the first team and Johan, I can't remember what he was doing, but looking after young players and whatever. He's doing something. Just get him out of the first team, essentially. I think that's what they want to do. And I think they do want to bring someone in. I think the fact that Kehl was offered a job tells me that. I do, but apparently also one of the problems was working alongside Lang. Apparently, according to some of the reports, was one of the problems with Kehl. They maybe didn't like the fact he was working alongside someone. So if that's the case,
Kehl had an issue with it. Doogie Friedman had an issue with it. Apparently, he didn't want to come in and work alongside Johan Langer. And at the end of the day, Win Stanley, why is he going to leave Chelsea to come to Tottenham right now? It just makes no sense for his career path. You know, he's on to his own thing over there. So the sticky point here is Johan Lang. It's always Johan Lang. You know, nobody wants to.
Why are they obsessed with this guy at the board? What are they doing?
They're sticking by him. I'm telling you, they're sticking by him.
I think I'm not. I've never disagreed that he ain't going anywhere. I just think they are going to bring someone in. That's
Maybe
all I'm saying.
Future, I don't think it's going to be this summer.
I think it will be this summer. I think it will be.
We'll see.
All right. Next up, we are talking about Djed Spence. We're talking about Djed Spence. So Djed, according to... Why isn't that coming up? There you go. Djed Spence, Tuto Mercato have been talking about a prospective move from Juventus for Djed Spence. Sorry, it's not them, it's Sports Witness. They are saying...
It is Tuto. I think it's Calcio Mercato via Sport Witness.
Okay, Calcio Mercato says Juventus see Djed Spence as a possible replacement for Andrea Cambiasso, who is one of the key candidates to leave this summer. Sporting director Marco Ottolini is driving the move, and who has already made quiet moves for the fullback. What kind of bid would make you consider a sale for Spence?
50.
So 45, you wouldn't tell?
Yeah, I mean 45 maybe. It depends who we can get in as replacement. I think Spence and Porro, if we could have them as our two right back options with Robertson and Doggy on the left, I think is really nicely balanced backline, to be honest. So I think it would have to be a big like above what he's worth, to be honest. And I don't think Juventus are going to do that. I don't think we sell him. I don't think Juventus bid enough, and I can't really see him leaving, to be honest.
Yeah, do you reckon it's maybe they've been put off the price tag of a Doggy and his injuries? They're like, maybe Spence they'll be willing to let go of instead.
They valued a Doggy at 26 million. They probably value Spence at like 20 million.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we're not letting go on Spence. I think Zerbi likes him. I think he will transition to right back. But it's interesting, there was actually a few quotes I want to talk about with Djed Spence from yesterday, talking while on England duty, whether he prefers playing on the right or the left. He said, obviously I'm naturally a right back, but I've been playing left back for a couple years now. So I'm learning the position, still trying to get better, but versatility is a good strength to have. I haven't played on the right for a long time, but it's still a strong position for me. And hopefully I might be out there on the right in this tournament. But if not, then I'm happy to be out there on the left. It's my position now on the left. So I just have to practice more, and there are things to perfect and hopefully produce more assists like that one for the rest of the tournament. Everyone knows how good I am at one-on-one defending, but going forward is a bit different playing on the left because it's not my natural side going forward. There is still stuff I can improve on, and I've got to try and get more numbers in attack. Yes, I mean, just reading in between the lines there, it sounds like he's kind of been doing a job on the left, but he kind of feels like he hopes he can come back to the right at some point. But it almost feels like he's saying, I've been out not playing on the right for so long, I'm so used to the left, I need to kind of get used to playing on the right again, but I feel like I'm stronger there. That's quite kind of why I read into it.
He also said in the same interview, like, he's still learning a lot about playing on the left. It's not his natural position, and he still has a lot to learn. But yeah, look, I think that's no surprise what he's saying there. He's not a natural left player. He's not as good on the left as he is on the right. We all know the problems we have on the left when he plays, and when he gets forward, he needs to check in on his right foot and everything like that. So I think it makes complete sense, and he is a much better right back than he is a left back.
Yeah, I think for me the big difference I think he offers something very similar in both kind of positions. I just think for me, when he gets forward on the right-hand side, it's just so much more comfortable for him to maybe fire a first-time ball in or take someone on down the outside. Whereas when he's on the left, it's just so you can see it. He doesn't think with certainty. He always doubts himself. Should I go down the outside? But I don't trust my left foot. Should I cut inside? But then I have to take that extra touch to cut inside, and then I risk either getting closed down or is my entering cross as good as it could be. Whereas I think when he plays on the right, I mean, I say this, we haven't actually seen it too much. I remember he played one game, I think it was against Burnley away, and he actually played really well on the right-hand side. I think last half an hour he played on the right. We only saw a glimpse of it, but due to Doggy's injuries, we just haven't seen him anywhere near enough on that side in a Tottenham shirt, period. Because even when he first broke in under Ange, he was also playing on the left. He literally... I don't think he's played more than a handful of games as a right back for Tottenham.
I know.
It's crazy.
And that goes down to our poor squad planning. It's not because we want to use Djed on the left. It's because we have to use Djed on the left because of the injuries and the lack of backup that we've had. Like Porro, God bless Porro. You know, he's pretty much played like every game, like non-stop games. Like I'm sure we would have loved to have given Porro a rest in a few games here and there and put Spence on the right-hand side, but we haven't been able to because every time we want to give Porro a rest, we got no players on the left, so Spence has to fill in there. So it's all down to squad planning why he's been playing on the left, nothing else.
What's funny, actually, I remember now in his first game that he came in under Ange, it was that game we won 5-0 against Southampton. It was like in December, a couple of years ago. And he actually started on the right. And if you remember, he started on the right. Within a minute, he gets an amazing assist for Maddison playing in that position. And then I think after 10 minutes, a Doggy pulled up with an injury. And then he then he moved over to the left. So, and he literally hasn't moved since. So the little glimpses we've seen of him on the right, he actually did do quite well, but we just haven't seen him enough. So hopefully next season, go on.
No, I think it also goes to show the testament of the caliber of player he is, because even when he's on the left, fine, we don't see too much of an attacking output, but he does a job for us. You know, he's still a competent left back, and he's going to the World Cup as a left back. He's not going to the World Cup as a right back, and he's Thomas Tuchel has gone picked to him over like players like Lewis Hall and players like that. So, you know, as much as, you know, we're saying he's much better on the right, he is still a good left back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. And he is still very tough to beat defensively, 100%. Even in attack, to be fair, he still gets in the position. It's just for me, when he gets there, there's just a lack of certainty, whereas on the right, it's just a bit different. That's the but he's still got bundles of energy. He's still very energetic and athletic, or even on that side. So he's still worth having, even if he is a left back. But hopefully next season, now Robertson's here, hopefully a Doggy can stay fit, or at least, even if he doesn't, we've got Robertson there. Maybe Van der Ven's going to fill in at left back more. So hopefully we won't even see Spencer left back at all next season. I really hope so. And he can start to play on the right more often.
Don't think too soon knowing about our injury crisis.
Yeah, you're right about that. All right, next up, we are going to be talking about Jan-Paul Van Hecke. And the big breaking news about Van Hecke is that there is no news about Van Hecke.
Fantastic. What a great update.
Juiced Bloomhoff was asked on X, is there any update on the Van Hecke deal? And he said, no news, the situation is the same. So that is the latest, up to date, to the minute on Jan-Paul Van Hecke at the moment. We're all hoping this deal will be done imminently, but he says as of today, no update. So the last we heard, that Spurs are set to submit a third bid. He wants the deal done before the World Cup, which actually does start tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen. But he wants his deal, his future sorted before then. But yeah, no news as of today.
Tell you what, the cynical side of me thinks that season ticket renewals were the 7th of June. There's been no developments in any transfer since the 7th of June. You know that. There actually hasn't. All that news about Van Hecke came out on the 7th of June in the last few hours of the season ticket renewals. So just fucking do it. Come on. don't use this bloody season ticket renewals because we see it every year. Every time there's season ticket renewals, there's these mad transfer rumors. Spurs getting this one, Spurs getting that one. We've heard nothing on Savinho or Van Hecke since the season ticket renewal date.
Don't do it to us, Tottenham. Come on, you promised us something. You can't just... They can't not follow through, but they've done it so many times. They've done it so many times.
But I'm saying, would you be surprised at all if both these deals fall through?
No. Wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. No, nothing surprised. After last summer, nothing can surprise me after last summer. Nothing. Yeah. When we had a 2 here we goes and we fumbled last summer.
Yeah.
Nothing can surprise you after that.
Exactly.
All right, so that's the latest on Van Hecke. I think it will progress. What I do worry about is he wants his future sorted before the World Cup. If the World Cup obviously starts tomorrow, will he say, let's say it's not sorted by tomorrow, will he just say, look, let's just put all these talks on hold. I want to concentrate on the World Cup, and then after the World Cup, we can talk about it and get it all sorted. So I'm worried that might happen.
Yeah. I don't doubt that. I think once it gets to the Netherlands' first game on Sunday, I don't think we'll hear about this till after the World Cup.
Let's hope you're wrong. And last but not least, let's talk about Raul Bellanova. Raul Bellanova from Atalanta. So, Tuto MacArthur saying Atalanta are willing to listen to offers for Raul Bellanova this summer, with Tottenham and Forest both showing interest. The Serie A club are understood to value the wing-back at around £17 million. Got 1 assist last year, played 24 games. Season before, he got 10 assists, so can, attack well. But why would we be going for a right wing back when we've got Porro and Spence, unless one of them's leaving? Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I was reading the report and it suggested that Raul Bellanova, if he was to come in, it would be a replacement for Pedro Porro if he was to leave.
Oh, bollocks.
That's what it would be. And he's had a pretty poor season at Atlanta, and the report suggested that, they want to get rid of him this summer after a poor season. But suggests, he is a good player in his own right. And, it will take a manager to get him back to his best, because he has performed very well in the past. But last season was a step backwards in his career. But there is a good player there. But let's just hope we keep Pedro Porro. That's all I say, because from Pedro Porro to Bellanova is a downgrade. So we can't be downgrading.
No, I can't see this being true. We're not going to be looking to sign him right now. If we do, that would signal something worrying if we are actually seriously interested in him. But look, the source isn't exactly the most reliable, so can't exactly say this is something to be worried about at this point. But look, that is your Tottenham update. Let us know in the comments. There's one more thing.
Marcus SENESI has just done his first interview as a Spurs player. 2-minute interviews. Let's go check that out.
All right, reacting to SENESI's first interview.
I'm a centre back that likes to play with the ball, like to have the ball on my feet and try to help the team building up. And from there, try to be as more offensive as we can and try to press as high as possible. I think I just got that feeling of playing forward all the time. I don't like to play too much to the sides all the time. I just try to break the lines and try to be more offensive. They really showed me that they wanted me, why they want me, and what they expect from me. If you tick those boxes, and yeah, I'm happy for that. I was excited from day one, so I'm really happy to be a player for Tottenham. I played against him when he was at Brighton, and yeah, I like the way that his team plays, and I think I'm looking really forward to this. I know a little bit Romero from national team. I play with Solanke, and a little bit Rodri Bentancur. We play against each other in the youth in Argentina, so I know a few of them. I spoke a little bit with Solanke because the other ones are in the World Cup now, and I don't want to bother them. I start playing in Salto Grande, in my club of my town in Concordia, and then when I was 12, I moved to Buenos Aires to play in San Lorenzo, where I just made my debut as a professional. I played there for 10, 11 years, and from there I moved to Feyenoord in Rotterdam, played there for 3 years, and then I got my move to Bournemouth, where I played 4 years, and now I'm here, new player of Spurs. I'm happy because it's one of the dreams that I had. I will try to do my best to make the fans proud, to win stuff with Tottenham, and yeah, just be a good person and do the hard work that we have to do. Take Tottenham to the place that they belong. I think that's gonna be the aim for everyone, and yeah, I think there is no more motivation than that.
Lovely stuff. Good words from Marco Senesi. He knows quite a few of our players, he's saying.
Saying the De Zerbi pool is unmatched. The Solanke, agent Solanke doing his best work as well. So, yeah, happy days, mate. I really am excited to see Marcus Senesi in a Spurs shirt. And I was just thinking about this the other day in terms of like Bosman signings that we've ever signed. He's got to be up there with one of the best ones that we've signed.
Yeah, a player with that amount of experience, that age as well, that amount of quality. Can't think of too many more that we've signed that could probably match that in terms of free transfers.
He was one.
He was one, but he was very old, wasn't he? What, 34 or something at the time? So he was a bit over the hill. In terms of a player like peak age, like in his peak years,
We've never signed one at peak age.
Yeah, I mean, we signed Perisic, but he was also old.
Yeah,
I know, but he wasn't a free, was he? I think we spent like 2 million on him.
did we? I thought it was a free.
I think we signed him for like. Didn't we sign him for like 2 million?
Maybe I thought it was a free, but
Maybe it was a free. Maybe it was a free. Who else have we signed? Maybe we have to do a video of our best free transfers. Can't think of
Who wants a free transfer target tier list?
Yeah, come on. So let us know in the comment section. And a lot of people are saying, you know, we had Dawson to announce Robertson, we had Ozzy to announce Senesi. So what next? Van der Vaart to announce Van Hecke. Emerson Royale to announce Savinho.
If Emerson Royale announces Savinho, then we need to get Barry in the studio for that.
Come on.
Who's going to announce Savinho? Maybe it'll be Gilberto.
Aurelio Gomez, Sandro, obviously. So obviously going to be Sandro. So obviously going to be Sandro. But yeah, you have to get Van der Vaart in to announce Van Hecke, surely.
Who will announce Van Hecke?
And then you get Van Hecke to announce Verbruggen.
Yeah. I think it'll probably be just De Zerbi.
Yeah, you're right, De Zerbi. Yeah, get De Zerbi. Get De Zerbi to do it. You got the perfect guy.
Yeah.
Ready and waiting. All righty then. Well, that is all the news. One more shout out to our sponsors, OK Jersey. Big up to them. Go to okjersey.com for your best best replica merch, best on the internet. You also get 15% off all the replica jerseys if you use our code SPURS15. So very affordable prices. They're about $15 on the website, but even less if you use our code SPURS15. And really good quality, really good shipping times, and as well they ship anywhere, and they have all 48 participating countries at the World Cup. So you want to get your shirts in time for the World Cup. If you order now, you'll get them in about a week to 10 days time. So in time to wear them while the World Cup is still on. So go get yours today at okjersey.com. Also, all the latest Spurs stuff, replica Spurs merch and training gear, jackets, all this kind of thing. So much stuff going on OK Jersey. So go check it out. Link is in the chat right now, or you just go to okjersey.com, but don't forget to use our code.
Yeah, it's also worth noting, I have mentioned it before in some of the ad reads that we've done for them, but do order a size up, guys. It fits a lot better. when you order a size up. So, yeah, just keep note of that. But they are top quality. Spurs 15% off. Lovely stuff.
All right,
do you want to
guys.
just finish off on these super chats?
Yes, let's read some of these super chats. Why don't I have them coming up? All right, one sec.
I've got them here. Shall I just read them? Medic Greg says, sporting director, Toby.
Would you say Toby, the sporting director? He wants to come and help the club. He said he doesn't want to be a manager, but maybe a sporting director. That's what he said. Who says no? Who says no to Toby?
I say yes. Bring him in.
Come on.
Name Knots says, yo lads, what a way to start the day in New Zealand. Will you be coming to New Zealand for the pre-season game against the A-League champions Auckland FC? Come on, you Spurs. SENESI. Not too sure at this moment.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get there. It's going to be very difficult to get there. You never know. Never say never, but...
You know, I was just actually looking at that game, and the first game is 5 a.m. kickoff in the UK.
5 a.m? Jeez. God, things we do. Well, we're going to cover it right here on WeAreTottenhamTV, by hook or by crook, that's for sure.
I bet you Sammy's rolling his eyes at the back screen, 5 a.m.
He's like, you have to do all these World Cup streams, and now 5 a.m. for a pre-season. What's going on here? What's going on?
I see a comment here saying, will there be World Cup watch-alongs? You bet there's going to be World Cup watch-alongs. We're not covering every single game, but we will be covering a lot of games on We Are Tottenham TV. And the kickoff for us is going to be Korea. Korea against Czech Republic is the first game that we're covering. And yeah, we'll make it known. I'll put a community post out, let you know, guys, which games we're covering. So we'll be covering quite a lot of them.
All right, so stay tuned. World Cup does start tomorrow, so people get ready. But that is all the news we have time for today. Danny Kiriaki says that's what Sammy gets for getting the worst draw in the sweepstake. And that's it. That's it. It wasn't for the teams. It was for streaming times. All right. Big up to everyone out there. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you all very, very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.